Welcome to Everyday Life. Thank you for joining our podcast, Conversations Over Coffee. My name is Jen.
And I'm Dagda.
And we're going to hit you with the explicit content warning right off the bat. This podcast does include adult situations and adult language from time to time.
I'm an angel. I never fucking cuss.
Yo, okay. Anyways, you ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go. You know, it wouldn't be a normal day if we didn't start out a little goofy. Hey, at least I got my sneeze over with a few minutes ago, although I feel another one brewing, so.
At least that's all that's brewing.
Yeah, today, so far, that we're aware of. Or that
I had broccoli last night.
Oh, fuck my life.
Because I ate one of those fucking crappy...
those cheap TV dinners you were talking about?
Yeah, and what are they? Chicken pot pies.
The banquet?
Yeah, and for some reason they put fucking broccoli in there. It's not very much, which is a good thing, because otherwise I would have been up all night.
It's one of those weird things. Like, here's the funny thing, like on the West Coast, we're all about the Marie Collanders and you have to do that when you're on a budget, right? Mm-hmm. And on the East Coast, I think it's the reverse. I've talked to a few people. They're like, oh, the banquet's TV dinners and the banquet pot pies are the best. No, they're really not.
Yeah, at least not the ones that they sell for $1. Those things are like...
Yeah. You
there's more package than there is pot pie.
Yeah. And
they taste good.
Yeah. I mean, I love it when the Marie Collanders, I love getting the sales. I don't eat them that often anymore, mm-hmm. but it's nice when you hit the sales and you basically get them for $1.50 a piece. Mm-hmm. But they come in two sizes. They come in the banquets have them for like $1.25. Yeah,
they're normally. Like $1.25. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Marie Callender's comparable size is normally $2.99. There's an obvious reason for that, okay?
Yeah.
It's very clear, right?
Yeah.
But Marie Callender's also has a dinner size one that's like one and a half, 2 times that, and it comes in like 12 different flavors. I'm telling you, the Parmesan, the chicken and Parmesan cheese one. I think I put on 2 pounds in one day because I was just like, this is so good. I got to eat both of them, not realizing they were both like 900 calories. And it was like, oh my God. But anyways, so how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. And thank you for not eating too much broccoli before coming over. I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's bad enough when for whatever reason the dairy just hits me wrong. It's bad enough in here. Mm-hmm. And it's way too cold to do a cross breeze with the door in the window. Yeah. Coming to you live from our Arctic Circle. We'd never get anything done.
There's people in Alaska and Michigan and New York that are like, you fucking lightweights.
Right. They're all sitting around in their boxer short, smoking their hookah at the window, being like pussies.
And it's 30 degrees in their house.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
or apartment.
Yeah. I am very sorry for anybody who lost. that one place though almost.
Oh yeah,
God,
that was fucking insane.
That is insane. What was it? $95,000 a month for a 3,900 square foot apartment in New York. Now I say that and you say that, and we're West Coasters, and we're like, we thought it was bad enough that if you live up in Bellevue, you're rocking $2,800 to $3,200 for 450 square foot studio apartment.
Yeah,
and it's just like, so if you do the math on that. And you look at something that's, even then, you could rent 20 of them here for less than that there.
Yeah.
You could rent an entire floor.
You could rent out an entire apartment complex for what you're spending for one fucking apartment.
Dude, just about like that is so crazy to see those kind of numbers going on. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, what has this world come to?
Yeah. I wonder how expensive it is to rent in London.
I don't
know. Paris.
I don't know, but this girl here can do some research.
Yeah.
Right now it looks like a research mobile just went through here because there's pages everywhere. Look how it's stacked. There's shit stacked here, shit stacked there. I got like 8 pages over here and I'm just dying to talk about them. Sorta, not really, kinda. I don't know, maybe. Anyways, the task at hand.
Yeah, so what were we going to talk about today?
Stranger Things.
I don't want to talk about that. No,
okay, so you want to talk about Harry? I am strongly obsessed with Harry right now, and I imagine it's probably going to stay that way for a while because it has the. I'm a very simple creature. I'm a very simple person. I like
Be
things.
a simple man. Anyway,
what did you just say?
be a simple man.
Oh, I thought you called me a bear, and I was going to go roar. But
Wow.
I'm very simplistic in I want something that's going to spark my imagination.
Mm-hmm.
I want something that's going to literally trigger my emotions. It's going to make me laugh. It's going to make me mad. It's going to make me cry. It's going to make me get attached in a way to where I don't know how to explain it. And I think it's because I keep my circle so small.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there are plenty of times where I'll read like, I don't know, 150 pages of Dresden, and then I'll put it down and I'll just be sitting there and my partner's looking at me a couple of times, are you okay? I'm like, and then I'll just imagining like Cat Sith or the Mulks and what the Mulks are doing. And I will just sit there and I can vividly see it in my brain. And there's no other book series, not when I was a kid. There's only one other book series that even remotely comes close. And I've read a lot of different types of books, and I just don't go back to them because they don't emote that. They don't bring that out of me. But this is the third writer now that does. And it's very simplistic, I'm sure. But Dean Koontz, Stephen King, and now Jim Butcher.
Nah.
The closest,
not even like the Harry Potter stuff.
I mean, J.K. Rowling is fine. I mean, obviously I have a very visceral reaction to book 5.
Yeah. Well, also probably part of that is because you're not a preteen or a teen, and so those characters are
very important to me. I was very, very sad when one of the twins died in the book. I was very sad when all the kids were being abused. It does evoke that for me. The problem I have is that there seemed to, for me, and I'm sure it wasn't because J.K. Rowling is a parent herself. It just seemed to me there was almost like this zealous joy to the abuse that she was putting on these children in some of the books. And it was just like, you're writing this like, oh, they're getting what they deserve. They're getting their comeuppance. It's just like, the whole thing that happened with Harry made me very angry to start with, that he basically was the Indian in the cupboard. Literally, that's where my problem lies right now with some of the, like, I love Harry Potter. I support the series. I think it's great. I love the Wizards of Baking. All of those things I really love. But when I step back and I think about Harry Potter being the boy under the stairs, the boy in the cupboard, I instantly think of the Indian in the cupboard. And I'm just like, isn't that kind of a ripoff of something Disney did or some other production company did? And then who did it first? And then it's like, who cares? They're all recycling ideas anyways.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Being the redheaded stepchild of the family is a long-running type of thing. So,
and for me, like I said, I'm not holding anything against J.K. Rowling. I mean, obviously, I've read The Ichabod and I've read The Christmas Pig, which I think are fantastic stories. Again, I do not think they're children's stories whatsoever. Even though literally when you go to find it at your local library, it is in the children's section.
I mean, have you heard of the Brothers Grimm and Aesop?
Of course I have. However,
those are all children's stories.
Of course I have. However, up until 10 years ago, those were kept in the young adult sections, which is where they rightfully belong. So you're talking age 12 to 17 is more appropriate to start reading those because you do deal with in like the Christmas Pig and the Ichabod, both you're dealing with death, murder, deception, destruction, all these different kind of things. It's like, really, I don't really think 6-year-olds should be sitting there going, mommy, why did they tear that pig apart and make him die? I don't think, you know what I'm saying? But that's just me. So I guess we're not talking about Stranger Things today.
My 5-year-old self is like, fuck you.
Right. You don't know shit. Go read the original Grimm.
Anyway.
I actually thought about seeing if they had it on ebook because I know that Cinderella and a bunch of the Disney classics are actually based on the original ideas of the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
Like I do know from what I have read over the years, I know that like Cinderella, her stepsisters, they actually cut their feet off, not You know, they actually cut their toes off and shit, which I think is brilliant. But again, look at the ages of those girls. They're also 17, 18, 19 years old. Cinderella and her stepsisters are all becoming of age to be married to a prince, to date and marry a prince. Yes.
Well, yeah, that's 13, by the way.
That's not 13.
It is. At that time, yes. 13, 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds. In fact, there were some people that were fucking already, quote unquote, married off before they were even born. So
that's just because we did things so bad. Anyways,
that's because so many people died back then that it was a necessity.
I understand that life expectancy didn't go into the 60s routinely until the 1900s to 20th century. I mean, understand that.
There were plenty of people who lived to that age. It was just percentage wise, it was fucking pretty small.
It was very minuscule, like your penis.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that when I was a kid, I remember seeing a statistic that said, like average life expectancy for a man was like 66 years and 3 months. And for a woman was like 68 years and 9 months.
Probably something like that. Once you get past the like 5 years old, your life expectancy was actually much higher.
Yeah.
The problem is that a lot of times they'll look at, if you do absolutes, in other words, X number of people are born, only Y number of people live to this certain age,
right?
Then, yeah, the life expectancy average is going to be like 18 because the majority of people who were born died by the time they were 5.
Yeah.
That's just cold, hard facts.
Yeah.
Up until relatively recently. But the people who lived past 5, there was a very high chance that they would live into their 30s.
Right.
The people who lived past 18, the majority of them would actually live until they're like fucking 60 or something.
Yeah. And if you were an Egyptian ruler, you might live to 17 if you were lucky.
Yes. Also the nobility and royalty were the ones who were most likely to live the longest.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes why you would have all those like, oh, this wise man, he was fucking 95. Well, he was probably part of the nobility or the equivalent of that at that time in that location. Not always, because like I was talking about like some of the philosophers. I can't remember the dude's name, but he intentionally lived a fucking horrible life. He lived in a fucking barrel and shit.
Wasn't that Aristotle?
It wasn't Aristotle.
I know who you're talking about.
It was one of their, I think it was one of the contemporaries. I think he was around at the same time as Aristotle.
Plutarch, maybe?
I think that might be him, Plutarch, yeah.
Like, I had to think about it because I remember us laughing a little bit because I had looked up. This is why our episodes are super hilarious to so many people, because I looked up Plutarch Heavensby, who was a character from the Hunger Games after I'd read the book.
Okay.
And I was just like, this is so weird because there's this little bit of difference between the book and the movie. So I looked up Plutarch and then found out who he was named, like basically where'd that name come from? Because like, you know, obs. And it was like, oh, there's a philosopher. And I remember looking at it with you and I think we were both laughing like, yeah, he's the guy who lived like a wino, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See how my brain works. Second time around. Boom.
Stranger Things.
You know, should we? The episode's almost over at this point.
No, we still have a half hour left.
Oh, well, that's not enough time to cover. But that's okay, because we could always do two parts to Stranger Things,
yeah,
too.
We could do like they did and make it into 3 sections.
So like the next half hour, we can make it suck like their episode, what was it, 5, 6, 7. And then we can make the finale of it awesome, like half of episode 8.
You see, I'm also, I guess I'm less judgmental for the most part about
everything in life we know.
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty judgmental on some things, but
I know, but I wasn't going to tell anybody that because they can't see your face when you're judging people about shit, but I can, and I know what those looks mean.
Yeah. So like I read a bunch of people are upset about not the finale. Prior to that, there were a bunch of people upset, and I'm like, I don't get it. I mean, this isn't exactly, it's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's far from the worst.
Right?
So
yeah, I mean, the Lemony Snicket's TV show, I made it 5 minutes and I was like, done. Just facts. So
I'm like, yeah, this is fine.
I think, so here's what I think it is. And I don't, I don't know what it is, but this is just my take on what it might be. We had this huge wait for this final season. Nobody wanted this to be the last season. Everybody wanted to see everything.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep going on, which is lovely and all of that, except for now these kids are actually in real life and in the real grown-up world. They're grown-ups. They're getting married. Some of them have families now. All of these different things are happening. And almost like Bill Skarsgård had says, he doesn't want to pigeonhole himself into one type of character. That's how these kids are feeling. They're just at the start of their career. I mean, they're not Macaulay Culkin where they're halfway through it. Okay. They're just like Macaulay Culkin where he had to start somewhere. And if they spend 10 years in that exact same role and don't start making moves out of it, they're going to end up like Macaulay Culkin was for a while, where he's not a B actor, but he seemed to be in a lot of B things.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want. I mean, he basically did the rich, snotty little kid for like 15 years, 12 years. He did Kevin McAllister, Richie Rich, all that. And that's not where you want to see these kids at. Now, I'm telling you, the smartest of these kids, I think, is little Miss Millie Bobby Brown Bon Giovanni. I think she's probably the smartest of them all because she has had her little paws in all kinds of kitties. She's actor. She's a producer. She does a little bit of writing. What, you didn't like that?
Any fucking way. Carry on.
Look, she's 22 years old. I would bang her. She's 22. And it wouldn't be wrong. If it's wrong, I don't want to be right.
Join Drake.
No, thank you. I can't stand that guy. Like, that's that Kiki song. Jesus Christ.
He's a rapper. R-A-P-E-R.
Oh,
he didn't miss a P, did he?
Don't get me started on that son bitch either. Although, fun fact, we did saw how he lost half of his wealth in the last 2 years. So, yay, small victories. But I think a lot of people were let down because you had the first 4 episodes for the final season and everything was just building. We got to see what Max has been up to for 2 years. We got to see, they never explained it, but obviously Susie Pooh, and Dusty Buns are done because they never mentioned Susie again.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. It was like, what happened to his long distance relationship? Especially
when it's like, it's Susie Q. She helped save the world. Susie Pooh helped save the world because she knew Plank's Constant, and she sang a great song.
Okay, I don't remember that bit.
You don't remember them singing that song?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God! You'll have.
Oh yeah, wasn't he embarrassed?
Yeah, he was like
he was supposed to sing part back, and everybody was standing around.
The never-ending story, and then in that season they go and they defeat, and then Max and Lucas are sitting there and they're packing stuff, and they're like, "Come on, Dusty Bun, just sing it one more time. How did it go? Was it turn around?" Anyways, so. That's one of the only characters you don't get to see a continuation of. You don't hear him. I think it's implied that because of his depression of what happened to Eddie, I think it's implied that he loses connection from everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
But you have episode 1, 2, 3, 4, the first 4 of this final season that are just cinematic. They're fantastic. Touches of humor, touches of grace, touches of a little touch of everything that you have felt throughout the entirety of the show. And then 5, 6, and 7 happened. And it just really, honestly, for me, and I'm not a super fan by any means because I don't know everything, but I've watched it a lot. I've listened to it a lot. I've read a bit. And for me, it literally was like some of it, they were just standing as still as they could in quicksand, just waiting for the end to get here. It's like, I mean, I'm sure you were happy because Kali came back.
Yeah, that was one of my predictions.
That was one of your hopes and predictions, right? And of course, one of mine technically came true, that either Elle or Will were going to have to sacrifice themselves, and Elle did.
Yeah.
Because Elle, and there's going to be people going, "Oh, you didn't predict that." Okay, there's 2 things I actually said what if about. And one of them, my prediction was either Elle or Will were going to have to die to save Hawkins, which technically Elle did, because it is presumed she died, and that's what made the military leave Hawkins, because they could no longer, she was dead. There was no way to pursue her. They were over. So Hawkins got to return. So she saved Hawkins by removing herself from the equation, right? And the other thing, if you caught the little snippets of it, there seems to be a lot of this where in the end they were actually just playing a game.
Yeah, that was one thing. Zoe was like, yeah, apparently they were saying that Elle didn't actually exist at all, and it was just their fucking fantasy going on. And it's like, what? It's like, okay, that would be kind of a cheesy shit fucking show of a...
I don't think it would be cheesy, but I think what it is
You wake up, it was all a dream.
So I wouldn't say you wake up and all a dream, but here's my theory. And here's my theory about why it was actually probably really a D&D game, and that Elle was actually a real person, but not who you think she was. And okay. So I'm going to start with the fact that Kali makes the reference in her scene where she dies that this is this is where her story ends, no matter what.
She was always going to die.
This is where she was always going to die, no matter what you did. This is where her story ended. Mm-hmm. And then you roll a little bit further, and you've got Dustin and Lucas talking about hit points to kill the creature. Yeah. From Camazotz or whatever, wherever, from this dark abysmal place. Camazotz is where they escaped from, or to, or whatever. Anyways, the place beyond.
That's what they were referring to. Yeah.
And you've got Steve, who's just like, hit points. What the hell are you talking about? Trust me, it's how we're going to win. We've got to knock down the hit points so Elle can do the final blow. So you've got all these little indicators where it might be. There is a conversation that Elle has with Hopper, and she's just like, I understand where you're coming from, but you have to understand I am me and I have choices to make. I have choices to make. This is my choice to roll it this way. Mm-hmm. She's constantly making this reference to it being her choice and it being her decision, and that's how she was going to play it no matter what.
Yeah, because he was constantly basically inhibiting her because he's trying to protect her.
Yeah. So you've got all these little indicators that it might be this giant game, right? But I think if you look at a very much bigger picture of it, and you take into account that the way it comes across at the end, because all the kids they're graduating high school and everything. And this is this big giant campaign, literally this campaign, because I've never seen campaign books that are 3 inches thick before. not for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Or I guess on the show, it's supposed to be like 6 or 7 years or whatever.
I mean, well, they go from being middle schoolers to
high school graduates. So why?
It's probably like 6 years.
Yeah. So why I think that it actually might have at least partially been a game is the synopsis he gives at the end when Max is just like, that's it. This is all our characters get is what? That's bullshit. And she gets really upset. And you're the storyteller. You are the storyteller. You're the one who's supposed to tell us and bring us in and we go get some trinkets. What kind of garbage is this? And the way he looks at them and looks down at his book and looks at them and continues on with, this is what the knight and the fair maiden or whatever, this is what happens to Max and Lucas. Mm-hmm. This is what happens to Dustin. Mm-hmm. This is what happens to Will. And this is what happens to the mage that we called upon. Is she actually, in our story, I like to believe, because he says in our story, I like to believe that when this was happening, that actually happened. And he talks about himself being the storyteller going on to write more stories.
Mm-hmm. He becomes Stephen King.
I don't know. See, now I didn't take it that he becomes Stephen King. I took it that he became a D&D writer. But it would make sense that he would become right. Facts. I don't know, but but like I said, I understand why people were upset, because it was it literally was episode 5, 6, 7. Really was like they were just in quicksand waiting for the end to get there.
As the military would say, they were marking time.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, because there was no good, and I'm not taking anything away from the Duffer Brothers. I'm not taking anything. I mean, I don't know who the writers were for this last season, because it wasn't all the Duffer Brothers.
Yeah, they had several people writing the script for different episodes.
And I have a hard time blaming the director, because I believe Sean Levy did one of my favorite episode sequences. Do you remember in season, I think it's 3, when they're in California, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And they do the sequence with the military, the Secret Service or whatever, coming to the house to try to get Elle and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that whole entire scene from the bad guys coming in and shooting the place up to them escaping was all done in one cut.
Okay.
So it was a single, and it's a really hard thing to do a single sequence cut.
Yeah.
And that was done, I believe, by Sean Levy, and he did it so good. It's one of my favorite sequence recorded they have out there. It's one of my favorite episodes just for how dynamic it's done. And just to see Sean Levy on what I thought was the absolute worst of the episode, which was like, I can't remember if it was 6 or 7, but I know that at the end of this episode, I went, who directed this garbage? And I felt bad because I really respect Sean Levy, but I was just like, you poor guy, they didn't give you shit to work with. And I mean, I'm ripping my hair out like everybody else going, you guys recorded over 600 hours of footage and this is the shit. This 4 hours of shit, they could have done it so much better because they left everything so evasive. And I can't tell you if it's the directing, if it's the writing, if it's the acting, or if it's a combination thereof, because you can obviously see that it was filmed over a period of time because Sadie Sink, you can actually physically see her weight change, where she gets a little curvier and then she goes back to being her normal skinnier self. So I don't know if it's just the distance in between filming or what, but it just was like, it fell so fucking flat. And even the last episode, I'm like, okay, I'm not even kidding when I tell you, I stopped it twice going, how much more of this crap do I have before they're done? I know it did for me. It did not pick up until the last 50 minutes. And that's when it was just like, okay, this is more of what I was expecting of this adventure and everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Zoe did say that, she was surprised that no one got injured or died other than Elle.
Well, you've got
not seriously injured especially the final episode
in the main cast. And that's exactly what would lead you to believe it might have been more of a game than anything else, because technically Dustin's about to die.
Yeah.
And then they call them
so
H.
Steve. Yeah. Steve's about to die.
Yeah, oh man, my stomach did roll on that one.
Especially when they fade to black while he's starting to fall. And it's like, okay, wait, what? This is a 2-hour episode. Why did it fucking just stop?
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
You know, and then of course Jonathan saves him. I still don't like you. Yeah, I still don't like you either. And then Jonathan saves him. And me personally, I think it was predictable that was going to happen, you know, because I personally would have thought, just based on everything you've seen through the series, for Robin and Nancy to be like, oh my God, Steve, and just stand there. Not how these Nancy's never, that character is not that way. She's not this standoffish person. So there's these little indicators that are just like,
I would say this, if Nancy or Robin had tried to save him, they both would have fucking died.
maybe not. I don't know.
It's called physics.
If they had stood over him and tried, yeah.
If they had done the same thing that what's his name did,
Jonathan,
they would have fucking went woo. Unless both of them together had tried it.
That's what I was saying.
Then maybe both of them together. I think they would have
both equally would have come over to him and done it.
Yeah.
And so it just seems so weird to me that they didn't even try to approach him. They literally, it's Jonathan. Here I come to save the day.
Well, I think Jonathan was one of the people who was closest to him. If Dustin had tried, he would have fucking died too. Yeah, he was the only one who could have fucking done that by himself and succeeded. That was on the tower at the time.
Okay, fair. I don't know. There's just little things for me where I'm just like, first of all, I'm not taking anything away. I know that I'm not the only one who's just like did this big holding their breath, waiting for this fantastic, glorious, oh my God thing. And then that happened. Just the entire, you know, like I said, I didn't really I was interested more. I'll have to watch it again because I probably missed half of it by looking over at my book and thinking about reading it.
Yeah.
Because I was just.
You're just a hater.
I'm not a hater. I really, I have had this ideology for a very long time. We talked about it last season that I really think that a lot of this is a game.
I don't think so.
And I do. And I say that. And I say that because here's how I say it, is because when they put their playbooks up, they all have playbooks.
Yeah.
There is no L.
Yeah.
There is no L in the playbook.
I mean,
and she's been there this whole series. And yes, she has sat down in the basement with the boys when they're playing D&D. There is no, my theory is, if it was truly a game, I think that when the kids were little, when Mike and Will were little, I think they knew Hopper's daughter, Jane. And
maybe
I think
when they were in elementary school, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think
actually, I think his daughter was significantly younger than her.
She was like 10.
I think she was closer
8
to
or
the
10 when she passed.
little sister's age.
When it first started, well, I mean, I think his daughter died when she was like 8 or 10, or like she was younger.
And it had been years since she had fucking died.
It had only been like 5 or 6 years.
That's still years.
It is years,
Yeah.
but Elle would have been the age of his daughter if his daughter had lived, is the point. And he kind of mentions that my daughter, Sarah, my girl, she would have been about your age kind of thing. So my thought is, somewhere in the back of my weird twisted mind, is, so if Mike and Will knew her from school, which Hopper explains that she was interested in mysterious things and science and all of these really smart things. And she like would learn the constellations and this, that, and the other. Like she was somebody who was very female Dustin with the way she was wanting to explore things and her curious mind and everything. Right.
Okay.
So my thought is, if this was really just a game, what if, and I love playing what if sometimes. So what if the boys had actually went to school with her and she was actually part of their group of friends, because she would have been part of the science club. She would have been Mr. Clark's student, just like the boys are. And so when they started playing D&D after she died and they do this campaign, what if Jane Hopper is actually the L character?
You mean Sarah Hopper?
Yeah.
The daughter's name is Sarah. Elle's actual name is Jane.
I thought his daughter's name was Sarah Jane Hopper.
I don't know.
But Jane is the name that her birth mother, Terry, gives her. So that's how she gets Jane Hopper. But Sarah Hopper, yeah, you're right. Sorry, my misspeaking words. But Sarah Hopper is actually Jane Hopper, who's actually Elle. What if they're all actually the same thing? Because when it comes, like I said, when it comes to the end and he looks up at the books, there's not one for Jane. There's not one for Elle. There's only their game books that they line up on the shelf.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I do not agree.
Duffer Brothers, give me a call.
I think that's extremely convoluted and Ouroboros.
Have you never read a Stephen King book whatsoever?
No, I've never read a Stephen King or...
Have you never listened to them?
Dean Koontz. I listened to Stephen King's book on writing. That was the only Stephen King book I ever
I'm actually kind of surprised that you didn't listen to the Audible for The Shining, and you can see how things, and we know from Derry and The Shining how he likes to interconnect all these different things in all these different ways. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if at the end of it all, it was really just a game, and Elle, aka Jane Hopper, was actually the embodiment of their friend Sarah Hopper, who died when they were the couple of years before when they were little. And this is the embodiment of who they thought she'd be, that she would be their mage. I don't know.
No.
But they, I mean, they did leave it open to do more if they wanted to.
Yeah. And that was like talking to Zoe. She was like, no, he died. She died. And I'm like, well, they did leave it open. They left a spot where it's a question mark instead of a fact. Right?
Yeah.
So at some point in the future, if they want to do a spinoff or follow Elle after the fact, or even leave her out of it and fucking follow the other people, there's still room for that.
They could literally 100% do an entire, at least 3-season episode on Mike and his hunt to find Elle at the 3 Waterfall Village.
Yeah. Also, they have all those women that they were fucking giving the blood to, all the pregnant women.
Yeah.
those women are still out there. Those babies are still out there.
No, those babies aren't. All those babies, ha 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 ha, that's where you're wrong. All those babies are part of the program. There's no other babies that are part of the program. But if those women had any other babies beyond the program, then there's that possibility.
They're part of the program, and they left.
All the babies stayed in the program. What part of all the kids from the program are dead? They'd all been murdered off by Henry. The only surviving of that, and even Collie says it this season, there's only 3 of them left out of the entirety of everything Papa had did. And that was 11, her, and Henry.
Yeah, they were trying to restart the program. And it wasn't working. However, there was still all those pregnant women. One of them could have fucking worked after fucking Collie didn't know what the fuck was happening because she was locked in a fucking cage.
Okay, fair point. If they actually moved those women out from the Upside Down before Ellen Collie imploded it, sure. But that's the thing that a lot of people forget is that whole military base is actually in the Upside Down. It's not in Hawkins. It's not in, quote, real space. It is in this Upside Down world.
Yeah.
So... yeah, sure. If they managed to get the ladies out of there before the whole lab went kaboom.
Also, Collie doesn't know every fucking thing. She wasn't part of 99% of the shit that happened.
But she's one of your favorite characters.
She is. Although she was kind of a non-entity in this season.
And I think that's the problem with Collie also is that you have this person who's very strong. Her character comes across as very strong-willed. She's a justice vindication person, and she's very strong-willed. And they got me, and they beat me, and I just gave up.
And they killed all my friends.
And they killed all my friends in front of me.
Fucking here wanting to murder all of them. Although she had been in there for a couple of months. So who knows?
Yeah, I think she'd been in there probably a lot more than a couple months because when they show her getting captured, they actually show the actress from season 2 that she's in that full, like, she's got the full face, the long hair, and all of that. Mm-hmm. That actress has lost a massive quantity of weight. Mm. You know, I mean, it's not necessarily massive quantity of weight. She lost her baby fat. I actually looked it up because I think I thought she did a really good job, and her name is Lene Barthelson, and so she's known as 8, aka Collie.
Yeah.
But she's still considered a main cast member, even though she was only in 4 episodes, maybe 5. Yeah, 5,
I don't remember.
5, 6, 7, and 8. Or half of 8, so there's 4 there, and then 2 from season 2 or 3. So she's not in very much, but
I mean, she's got more screen time than Barbara.
Right. Barbara was great, though.
Yeah.
But I have to go back and watch it on the big screen and pause it at a few places. Honestly, I was just so disappointed with 5, 6, 7. I just wanted to get through 8, just see how they ended it. There
was a point when, because Collie was so kind of off from the way she was originally
portrayed. Yeah.
Now, that kind of makes sense because she's had a shitload of trauma that she's just gone through. But there was a point where I was like, is she fucking actually working with Henry?
I'm saying.
And is she actually going to end up being a fucking plant or something?
Yeah. You kind of get that. And you know, you kind of get that feel.
I was kind of worried about it.
Yeah, I was kind of stressed about it too, but it's just like, I don't know. I think when she figured out that I don't know.
Part of it also could have been that she was like considering what she had just been through with the kind of trying to recreate fucking another Henry.
Yeah.
Situation that she really did believe, okay, I have to fucking die.
Yeah.
There's no other way out of this. I must die.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was why she was kind of mute, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, when a lot of people, when they figure out that the end is nigh, you know, they either put their best foot forward and continue to fight, or they, you know, turn into this gluttonous. We know somebody who's kind of going beyond gluttony, you know. but the fact that Collie, this strong character who just wanted to live this simple life, I understand feeling like no joke. If you were killed in front of me, it would devastate me the rest of my life. I would just be like,
yes, he's gone. Fuck that asshole.
No, I'd be going over to your house, kicking your door and being like, that Dresden File tabletop game is fucking mine, Sean. No, it would devastate me.
It's only 2 books.
It'd be like losing one of my blood siblings to me. It would be, I mean, it might devastate me more because it's just like, dude, like, bro, come on. Well, I mean, it's an off mic conversation for that. But so I get that feeling, that complete defeat. She's obviously stuck in the upside down with this Dr. K who's been searching. If you're paying attention to what they're saying, she has been searching for these answers for a long time. She's been searching for Jane. She's been searching for an answer for this long time. And it was just opportunistic for them that once the upside down cracked open in Hawkins, that they had a way to get in there. So Collie is in there. Collie could have been in a different facility prior to this because there's no interaction from Collie for like basically in the show, like 3 years, absolutely nothing from Collie, which doesn't make sense because they, even though they went their separate ways, Collie and 11 ended it like even though we see things differently, I love you. You know, you're my family. I love you. Reach for me when you need me. And so Collie was in this torture chamber for at least 11 months. Yeah. Because I want to say it's like 11 months between when Hawkins split open. Because it's amazing. It took them, how long did it take the military National Guard to get to Hawkins when they called for them to come to Hawkins? Like, what was it, like days? But the minute it was like they were trying to get people there to help stop things. They were trying to help and get help and get help and get help. And then the minute it cracks open, well, you know, the National Guard moves in and everything's fenced within 2 or 3 days completely. Like they're on fucking lockdown. Yeah. And it's like, what is... So the concept itself and the execution, I'm going to say, is at an 88% approval rating with me. I love most of the characters. I like where they've gone. I'm a little bit... there are a couple of things where I think the way it was done in the fashion of ideology of how it should work in the real world, not how it did work in the real world. Because in 1987, it was not... there was a lot of things that happened... 87, 88, 89 for people of alternative lifestyles where they weren't welcomed the way that they're portraying it. Yes, they should always be loved and welcomed the way they are. It does not matter if you're gay or straight or bi or tri or whatever. None of that matters.
Well, I assume that Will went someplace where there's a big gay community.
Yeah, my first thing was San Francisco. Ding, ding.
Yeah, or like New York or something.
Yeah, maybe New York. I was trying to figure it out, but I think New York probably would have been the most likely culprit for him because when Hopper proposes to Joyce, it's interesting. I'm telling you, this ended up being a big game because Hopper never mentions Jane once. Not once. Do him and Joyce talk about Jane after the end of it all?
Oh, no. He only talks about Joyce's kids. It's the only thing he does is you raised 2 good boys. Now it's just me and you. What say we get married and we moved out to Massachusetts? We'll be closer to the boys because you've got Jonathan who's at NYU and then you've got Will who's going wherever. Yeah. So they're all East Coast as far as you can tell. Yeah. So they're all Indiana and East. But that's what I figured. He ended up in like New York City or something because Jonathan's there. And there is a large LGBTQ community there that was there in the 80s and the 90s because Studio 54 was there, which is kind of, I mean, to be honest with you. I was actually thinking of Studio 54.
Exactly. Because I was just like, wait a minute. Because even though it's really dark, you can see these different people dancing. And I'm like, that reminds me of old footage I saw from Studio 54. Yeah. Which, you know, I don't know. But I would hope that people would still feel embraced by the people they love the most. But I mean,
Hopper does talk to Mike about her, right? So that's the only time he mentions her is when they're talking because Mike is avoiding going to his graduation.
Yeah. It's the only time, and he doesn't even necessarily talk about her. He talks about the way things ended.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of
an implied thing.
No, I think that's in line with his character because he doesn't really talk about his daughter that much.
Yeah.
Even though obviously it eats at him.
Yeah.
But he never actually, well, he rarely mentions her or actually talks about her, even though 90% of what he does is because of her.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, there's, literally, I could analyze this for hours and hours and hours with you.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have that difference of opinion on whether it was or wasn't a game. And I think there's all these little key indicators that it could have been both. That it could have been an adventure that happened that they incorporated into their game. It could have been an adventure that they could have replayed. Literally, it could have been an entire adventure that they had with Sarah Hopper before, and it finished. The game didn't finish before she died. And then here comes Max, and they pick the game up over, and they just play it through to the end. So, there's lots of little things that could be indicative of it being this, that, and the other. Because, what?
Nothing. Carry on.
No, what?
I just think that's fucking ridiculous, is all.
The ideology that it could be a game or that line of thinking?
Yeah, because literally, it would be literally a bunch of insane people jerking off in a basement. Is what you're saying is what the fucking entire fucking... is what this entire fucking show was about.
Jerking off in a basement? I don't think so.
Mental masturbation.
I don't see it being that way. When I was younger, I would do gaming sprees of 12 hours at a time, so I don't see it that way.
Yeah, same.
Because they're still going to school and work and everything else.
Yeah, same. But you're saying this is all a hallucination on the part of the fucking the younger cast members.
I'm not saying it's a hallucination. I'm saying by
definition,
they're doing a campaign, and if you do campaign, even you've said if you are doing a pen and paper role play game, you have to be able to visualize and have a really good, really, really good conceptualized mind for things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the storyteller sold a story, and I don't know. I'm enough of I don't know. Whatever. It's done now.
The answer
We're never going to have the right answer.
The answer is it was all real because Mike's mom has fucking scars on her throat.
So that's what makes you feel it was real.
Yeah, it was all real. It all actually happened.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that could have happened with a mountain lion attack too, right? Because their house was literally on the edge of the woods, right? You know that, right?
And you fucking
I don't know. I know that. I know that I was just really disappointed.
I believe.
That's good. Good for you. It really was. It is sad that it's over. I think it fell flat. I'm not going to lie. I think the last half of it, the last of the last season, I think it fell flat. I think that when you're a creator, okay, I think you have to find a way to make the story happen the way it needs to happen. And I still feel like there was elements missing. I was happy to see Mr. Clark come in for one last little hoorah. I was happy to see Collie there for you because I knew you liked it. I was really glad that Max came out to the real world.
She came out all right.
She's coming out. I
actually really liked Mike's younger sister. I don't remember her name. Holly. Yeah, she actually did a fantastic job.
The girl, the actress or the character?
The actress and the character. Yeah. The character had a lot of growth, whereas before she was kind of a throwaway character.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little indifferent of it and here's why. Because the last time we see Holly, she's roughly, when the whole series starts. Now remember, the series is supposed to happen over a 3 to 4 year period. Okay, it's supposed to happen when they're 12, and then basically the end of the Upside Down happens when they're 16, and then they fast forward 2 years to their graduation. Because they go a year and a half from the end of the Upside Down to their graduation. So when you take that into account, so 2 years before that, so from 12 to 16 is 4 years. So Holly was 3 when she wasn't even in kindergarten. She wasn't even in pre-K. She was 3 or 4 when the series started. Mm-hmm. She was the oops baby. She was the surprise baby.
Okay.
And that character, even though the actress did a very good job playing young and immature, she was very clearly the 12-year-old range. The same age as Mike when Mike got into D&D. So they even admitted they had to age the character up to make everything work the way they wanted it to.
Okay.
So I take issue with that a little bit.
Okay.
You know, because it could have been, I just think there's different ways to do it. But the Holly character herself, again, they left it open for more to come because you see Holly and her 4 friends all go down to the table, which if you look at it, it's pretty amazing. It's Holly and her 4 friends, just like Mike had him and his 4 friends.
Yeah.
So it's
a closing of a loop. It's come full circle.
It's come full circle. It's come full circle. It leaves other opportunities open. It leaves each one of the characters. Like you could do literally a comedy show just on Steve and Dustin.
Yeah.
And their weekend adventures going out camping.
Buddy comedy. Also, like another thing that I just thought of, all the kids who were abducted, right? Mm-hmm. All 13, 14 of them.
There was just 12. Wait, you're including Will in that.
Will, yeah.
Okay.
So all of them potentially can now be psychics, especially if they're all around each other. Yeah. Because the fucking collective. Yeah.
I mean, dipshit Derek became delightful Derek, and he could potentially, have the power of Vecna, like Will did. But here's the thing, Vecna died, which theoretically, because you see his actual energy leave each of the people. It doesn't mean they couldn't do it.
Doesn't mean he didn't leave any residue.
That's really gross because those are children. That is really gross.
It came out of their mouths.
That is the only thing I have to say about, I think it's season 2 that I really just gave me the really gross, creepy willies when he's just like, I can feel it in me. And his mom's like, where? And he's like, everywhere. And I'm just like, fuck. If that doesn't scream SA, I don't know what did.
I mean, they are conked out with stuff down their throat. So
let me clear my throat. Anyways, I like I said, I was really happy to see certain characters come back. Mm-hmm. I think the hardest part for me was Vicky. One of the hardest parts for me was Vicky. So she comes in and she's there to watch over Max and everything and eat cereal and blah, 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 blah. But you don't see what happened to her 18 months later. So obviously her and Robin are done, but there's no evolution of how they got there.
I mean,
she doesn't talk about Robin. Robin doesn't talk about her inner catch up or anything.
I think she might sort of offhandedly, because she does mention overbearing significant others when they're on the rooftop in their final scene, and they're talking about we should meet up or whatever. And her thing was overbearing significant others. It could be her, but then again...
Which is really interesting because the way she looked at Nancy when she said that, I thought, I wonder if her and Nancy are hitting it out of the park now. Because Robin's always had a thing for Nancy, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just like, oh, hello, ladies. Hello.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I'd rather date your missus. Anyway.
Right. So we got Collie back. We got Mr. Clark back. We get Vicky, which I don't understand the importance of Vicky. And I'm not taking anything away from the actress. Yeah. I don't understand the importance of Vicky in there at all. Because she literally is there basically to be, I guess they had to have her in there to be a gateway to get the drugs, to drug the family, to get the benzos to drug the family, and then to watch over Max when they all had to disappear to the upside down.
Yeah.
I mean...
And to help them escape from the fucking Gorgons and also...
Gorgons?
The Demigorgons.
Okay, I'm like...
and then also to help them escape from the fucking military people that showed up. So basically 3 times, either because she was there or because...
her being in the story allowed access to... Yeah. To gain further in the...
If nothing else, because the hospital staff were familiar with what's-her-face because she was dating... Well, because she was hanging out with the other chick.
Right.
And so they saw her, so they had some level of ease with her.
Yeah, they
around,
like
so.
it just she became like a fly on the wall. They didn't take notice of her. Okay.
Yeah.
It makes, I mean, it's pretty bad if you have to write that character in for that specific reason.
I don't remember. Yeah, because I don't remember her. Was she dating?
The last we saw of Vicky.
I mean, in the season before this.
Yeah, in the last we saw of Vicky in the season before, she had just broken up with her boyfriend who was at college.
Okay.
And so the last we see of Vicky is her making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches side by side with Robin at the shelter and talking about how stupid her boyfriend is and like, you know, so, you know, but for me, it was just such an injustice to the character because it really, with no follow up, the 18 months later with no follow up of like, hey, she's my ex. Hey, she's not my ex or whatever. Or it was, I miss my, she's like, I miss my friends and others, but she doesn't, you know what I mean? Like not having that specific checkup with Vicky kind of made me feel like, okay, so you just basically used her like somebody would use the hot girl at the party who had free access to the VIP booth. Cool. Gotcha. Because they needed a way to get access to the drugs and they needed a way for somebody to look over Max because you can't sell Max being basically an invalid in the wheelchair, which thank you very much. By the way, if you're laying down for 2 years, you're not able to sit up. You got to be strapped up until your body can learn. But anyways.
Well, until your muscles are strong enough to hold you up like a baby with its fucking giant ass bobblehead.
So, yeah. So how about we put a pause on it right now and we'll come back to talking about it because there's definitely more Stranger Things. But today we're out of time, but we'll continue on. And then we'll finish talking about it because there's some really interesting other things that happen.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Things that actually happen or were just a dream?
I hope you guys don't have to deal with somebody like him all the time. Have a great day, you guys. We'll see you in a couple of days for part 2 of the Stranger Thing conversation.
Later.
Bye. Okay, everybody. That's all the time we have for today. So I want to thank you for stopping by to enjoy the conversation. We're glad you're here, and please share and share again and share some more. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We'll be having another chat and another cup soon. We'll talk to you then. Look forward to seeing you.